Welcome to It's Your Space. I'm Mary Cox, Seattle-based, New York-bred interior designer who firmly believes that subconsciously, design choices psychologically and physically influence how you feel in a space. This podcast will introduce you to the science behind how your environment impacts your well-being. I'm often asked what my process is for designing a space. It's easy. I listen. Because the truth is, you actually know what you want, and I know how to get you there. We have worked with Contract Furnishing Mart for many years on our project specifications, and we were grateful to have Tony Medici on a recent episode of our podcast, where he shared a heartwarming story about his trip to visit Cosentino headquarters in Granada, Spain. Deeply moved by the experience, he told a story of how Granada's cobblestone streets, architecture, and picturesque charm affected him in such a profound way that it actually brought him to tears. The valuable information and memories he brought home were life-changing. Cosentino is a family-owned company known for innovative surfaces in design and architecture. But what resonated with us through Tony's story was that he felt something much deeper than their products and materials. There was a sense of culture, heritage, and connection woven into the experience itself. Sometimes certain places stay with us long after we leave them, not because of what we saw, but because of how they made us feel. Tony and I recently had the opportunity to see chef Yotam Ottolenghi at a one-night theater performance in Seattle. Tony was so inspired by Ottolenghi's use of Mediterranean herbs and spices that he made his salmon za'atar, which I hope I pronounced right, recipe. But to quote Tony, he said, "It was amazing. I've been wanting to use my za'atar spice since I purchased it in the alleys of Granada on my trip to Cosentino. Food is love." That phrase really stayed with me. Food is love. Chef Ottolenghi's connection to family is deeply rooted in his upbringing. For him, food is much more than nourishment. It became a language of comfort, heritage, gathering, and connection that bridges generations. Because in many ways, that's what today's episode is really about. The things we bring into our homes, whether food, materials, textures, colors, or design, shape more than the look of a space. They help shape how a space feels and how we ultimately experience life inside it. Today, we are delighted to introduce Patty Dominguez, Vice President of Business Development and Strategic Partnerships for Cosentino. Welcome, Patty.
Thank you, Mary. So happy to be here.
Well, Patty, one thing that stood out to me is how much Cosentino emphasizes people and that family connection. I saw it in everything that we dug up. Everything's about the family connection. And how does that mindset actually show up in the way your products are created?
Well, I think for any company, and certainly for ours, our DNA and the way it all starts with it being very intentional. We pride ourselves for really being a company that's focuses so much on, product development, but at the same time, our biggest asset is our people. And being a family business and the roots of Cosentino, where it started, how it started, the family business aspect of it, growing into what it is today and never losing sight of the most important part, because it's the people. When you're creating a product that is going to make people happy because it's going to make their space beautiful, that it makes it a little easier, because that's exactly what we are attempting to do.
I was a fan of Decton way before anybody knew about it. I read about it and I thought, I love this product. So when it first came to Seattle area, the biggest problem was fabricators that knew how to use it, you know. But I was out there saying, no, I want you to have Decton. And then I didn't at that moment in time even have the background, which made me like it more, of the family dynamic. Then I really loved it. I was like, okay, now I love this. But now you mentioned that the brand really listens to the design community and how people experience the products. So what does that feedback look like, and why is it so important, like the feedback from designers?
Yeah, I mean, I remember 20 years ago sitting in a room with Paco Cosentino. And when you sit in a room with him, first of all, he is magical. He has this aura about him. And when he speaks, even people who don't speak Spanish, as he's talking, you can sense that warmth in his eyes when he's looking at you, and all the years of the history behind him. And I've never been in a meeting in all of these years where he doesn't start and end with, tell me more, give me your feedback. What can I do better? And it was so powerful back then. And the fact that I still hear the exact same thing 20 years later, and that's what he's taught all of us. And so his children who are now running the company, they're the same way, because they understand that we can make beautiful product, but if you don't listen to what is needed, if you don't listen to the design community and everyone about just the real, aspect of what is their needs, what's important. And when you're a global company, something that is incredibly important is to understand the needs of each area, each country,
Right.
city. I mean, in our own country, we have, both the East and the West Coast, and the design aspect and the needs and what works there is so different than the Midwest. So if you're trying to produce materials for the world, you better listen before you get out there. And there's times where we launch product and we don't bring colors to the United States because we listen to the design community saying, don't bring this, or vice versa. And we bring things here, and the European team, or maybe in Europe, the Italians want it, but the Scandinavians don't. So you got to listen to be able to really pay attention. But even not on the sales side and on the development side, we are very big about listening about everything else. Like I said, Paco will sit and talk to you while you're walking through our company, just like Tony just said in earlier, we ask for that feedback. What can we do better? What did you think of the facility? When someone tells them how clean it is, it's like this, you're so excited when someone tells you that you can see everything we do for health and safety, for cleanliness, for the employees, for making sure that they're happy. It's all of it. It's not just about the product.
It's amazing because when you said two things, one is I've had the good fortune of being able to do, I'm from New York originally. You probably hear my New York accent, but it kind of stays with you. But designing homes around the country. So if I was in New York, it would be a whole different vibe than out here on the West Coast. And then if I was in California, I'd have to switch gears. And then I did a lot in Kentucky, in Lexington, with horse farms there. That was great because I'm a horse person. So, but then total switch, totally have to go, okay, wait, where am I? Because you're in a different culture. And
Totally.
so then I'm switching my colors, my whole everything. And It's the key that I'm big on. You just said it, though, is we call it like creative listening because to me, I've always been about taking my ego out of design, and I try and help other up and coming designers to say, leave your ego at the door. This isn't about you. It's about you listening to what their pain is, of they're frustrated, they're upset, whatever. And then it's exactly in line with what you're saying. I'm constantly saying, did we listen to her? If we're really listening, we have to take this into account. It doesn't matter what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Now, from your perspective, how do materials influence the way someone lives in their space, not just how it looks? Like, how does that influence when you're dealing with designers all the time and you're saying, this is a cool product, but how's it going to feel to the family that's in there?
Yeah. I think that's probably my favorite part and my favorite subject to talk about, because one of the great things about Cosentino is our diversity of products. And so it's easier for me because it doesn't matter what you like. I have it to offer. So that's certainly something that puts us above, our competitors, because in the end, if you want quartz, if you want a product that's like a style stone, if you want a product that is more for the day-to-day busy lifestyle, no maintenance, it doesn't scratch, it doesn't stain, and you want that look, we have it. We have Decton, obviously, which is more of that porcelain look, very thin material, all the way to a 2 cm. And again, the beauty of Decton, it's the low maintenance, but also for outdoors, it's an amazing product. It doesn't fade, the color, the stain, and certainly heat resistant. But then we have Senza Granite, which is a granite that you never have to seal. And we also have our quarries and, natural stones. So we have our quartzites that we could sell to you. And how products, how they make you feel and what it is that you like goes back to your first question. What kind of lifestyle do you like to live, and what's important in that family? Some designers and homeowners love the look and feel of natural stone and the quartzites and the exotics. Some love it so much they don't care if it stains. They don't care if it looks a little worn after a while, because a lot of people, and I don't disagree, love the look of that because it's real and it's gorgeous and it looks used, and there's a elegance to that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't like that, and they really don't want to ever see any kind of a stain. And so if you like a beautiful product, but you don't ever want to deal with a stain, you don't ever want to deal with the scratching and, worrying about a nice, beautiful party and someone spilled the red wine, then that's when Decton, that's when Silestone and Eclos all come to life, and that's what you can get. So it allows you to have a beautiful island where the kids are doing their homework and there's crayons and there's mess and spills, and not consistently be worried about your beautiful countertop.
Good point. And you're absolutely right. So many people do not care, including myself. My feeling is to have a natural stone on there, and it's going to do what it's going to do. You try and take care of it. But I also understand that Cosentino is passionate about using environmentally responsible products, such as Decton and your newest launch, Eclos, okay? And also Decton, I saw introduced a whole new collection. But could you tell us more about that?
So speaking about Eclos is our newest product that we just launched. And basically it's we call it the next generation mineral surface. And it's designed specifically for indoor applications like kitchens and bathrooms.
Okay.
The standout feature of this particular product is that it's zero crystalline silica formulation. So it makes it a very sustainable and safe alternative to the traditional engineered quartz. That's kind of what Eclos is about. It's crafted from a blend of minerals, and it has up to like 89, 90 recycled materials. So this particular product was really made thinking about our sustainability promise and how much we care about, really having sustainable products. But I wanted to say that it really just goes way more than that, because for Cosentino, we've been like, when I had the opportunity to walk the grounds again 20 years ago, there wasn't this big movement on sustainability. As a matter of fact, I remember people starting to talk about they wanted to work with sustainable products and green products, and all that green movement started. And then what happened was companies would say, I'll make a green product and a recycled product, and then people would not use it because it was too expensive. All of a sudden that
Exactly.
matters so much when you had to pay for it. But companies like ours, I mean, when you go into our factory, you see we have our solar panels. We have all of our quarries are full of solar panels. All of our water is recycled water content that is coming. You know, all of our materials are used from recyclable sources. And so that's been what our story of sustainability has been forever.
Today's episode is sponsored by Contract Furnishing Mart. Since 1981, CFM, as we like to call it, has been helping homeowners, designers, builders, and remodelers create spaces that truly feel like home. From flooring and tile to countertops and cabinetry, their showrooms are designed to make the process easier, more inspiring, and a lot less overwhelming. With expert design guidance and thousands of products to choose from, CFM helps bring your vision to life from start to finish. Visit cfmfloors.com to learn more. So what drew you to the fact that you said, I love this company. I love what they're saying? Do you know what I mean? Because I could tell by your face, they are family to you. I could tell by watching you. So I was like, what was the golden ticket that said, I want to be with them 20 years ago?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I, first of all, do not come from this industry. I was in the hospitality industry when I first graduated college. I got a job in the hospitality world, and I loved it. And then a few years later, I was I wasn't working. I was doing a lot of nonprofit work in Houston. So I was raising my boy, and my husband and I were doing a lot of, great things. And I was really just I was a volunteer, and I was president of a nonprofit organization. Mm-hmm. During that time, I got a phone call from a friend of mine who was also at the time part owner, CEO of Cosentino. And Paco Cosentino was his business partner. And he and Paco had a conversation about something that Paco had a vision of, which I will share.
Okay.
He called me and he said he wanted me to come visit him in his office. I came. I wasn't really sure what this conversation was about. Mm-hmm. And I was being interviewed for a position and I didn't really know. And it was a very quick conversation. And bottom line, what he said to me was, do you want to take this job? And it was as the National Kitchen and Bath Sales Manager. And I was like, I don't even understand what you guys do, much less what the kitchen and bath, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
And he told me the cutest thing ever. He said, listen, there's a trade show that will happen next year. It's called KBIS.
Right.
He goes, it's happening next month, but I'm going to give you an example of what you need to do next year when this trade show happens. I want designers and kitchen and bath dealers to come to the show and to our booth and ask you how Sebastian is doing. Sebastian is my son who is 6. And I looked at him and I said, "That's my job description?" And he said, "Pretty much." And he said, "Because what we want is we need someone to build relationships that are meaningful relationships in the design community. And it doesn't matter that you know the business, you can build relationships. And we are sure that that's what you're going to do, is you're going to build relationships with designers and kitchen and bath dealers who want to work with Cosentino." And so I was like, well, that sounds like a fun job. Obviously, there's a lot of things that happen from that moment on, lots of mountains and lots of up and downs. But in the end, I've never forgotten that what the goal was. Our business module back then was all about distribution. We did not own our own distribution. We had distributors. So we didn't have the relationship with the design community.
Exactly.
But what they wanted me to do was to create the relationships with the kitchen and bath, the hardcore K&B dealers and designers.
Got
And
it.
I didn't know how to do that. I just knew how to build relationships. I met a lot of people. I started those trips to Spain that you were just talking about.
Right, right.
That sort of like, let's go to Granada, let's go to the quarry, let's go to the factory, and created those trips that were curated for clients to come and see, because I felt like that's our best story to tell. We used to only bring fabricators back then, but then 20 years later, I'm still doing that. And I will say most of the design community asks me how Sebastian's doing.
Well, I'll ask you, how's Sebastian doing?
Sebastian's great. I'm very fortunate. He's a wonderful 26-year-old living his best life, thriving, and it's great.
I love that you took the position on a leap of faith and it wound up opening a whole new world to you. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a
And
cool
we were
story.
so small. We were a very small company back then. We only had Silestone. And, like I
Wow.
said, we had 0 showrooms. We didn't have our own distribution. Now we have 70 showrooms in North America and 2,000 employees. So I've grown with the company and it's been so much fun.
My brother has a quote, and I always love it, where he says, ideas can come on cocktail napkins. That resonated with me because I thought of him saying that. And here
Yes.
you are saying, well, I don't know. And then, of course, your boss believed in you and said, we're going to trust her. And there's that trust word. And then they go ahead. And now 5 years later, you have Jeremiah Brent from Queer Eye there at your last one, because I heard it was a huge success. And so I was like, I love the fact that you trust your instincts on everything, even the fact that you're with this company. It just connects. That's who I am. It's like I trust my gut. But I wanted to hear about your experience at Milan Design Week. Do you feel that the industry is placing more emphasis on the science behind products, particularly in relation to health and well-being and how the spaces and materials make us feel?
Yeah, I do. I think Milan this year was unbelievable. First of all, the magic and the energy that's felt, and you better be, people are looking at everything. You better know you're wearing the right shoes because you're walking 100,000 steps a day.
Right.
People, the energy, the beautiful city of Milan, but the spaces that were created by all these different companies, each one was better than the other. And
Right.
I think to answer your question, the first one that comes to my mind was the space that Kohler did was absolutely stunning. They brought in the wellness factor, and you could see how intentional they're being
Right.
with that, with what they're bringing, whether it's their whole wellness program that they're doing, and spas and all of that. But it it was so beautifully done. And then Cosentino, we were so proud. We collaborated with Tom Dixon. We did these beautiful tables, and the space that we had was gorgeous. And our marketing team really did a fantastic job. We were very intentional in doing different talks, a lot of them about wellness, and I think it's something that is most brands, you walked around and you saw that they were very, it seems to me that everything was very intentional in that aspect of what you're talking about. You could see it everywhere. I do think brands are really focusing on that. I got to go to the Gucci party, and that was incredible. And they had this like a storyline and these carpets that were made into murals. Um, the Gucci story, and but the palazzo we were in was unbelievable. It was gorgeous. And they had this cute little like vending machine, and you'd like press your number, your little code to get in, and it pop out like a little Coke that said, Diva or whatever, all these funny things. But I think that's what makes design Milan so wonderful, is because it's not a trade show. You're not walking in to just see a product. You're walking in and experiencing something right there. And
So cool.
I do feel that they're placing more emphasis on like the science behind the product. And I think the emphasis on health and well-being is everywhere.
We were fortunate to have Don Ruggles on, and he is a leading voice in the world, I guess, in neuroarchitectology and the science of design, so that how all of it is affecting not just our well-being, but our health and our heart rate, our digestion. And we've been so involved in learning more and more about that. But he was an amazing guest in talking about what you're saying. Every single thing ties into your products.
What's interesting is this year at CNext Monogram, they brought a neuro architect, and his name is Richard Fleming, and he did an unbelievable presentation about the science behind it and the user experience and the intersection of like design and science, and so cool. Like, follow him. He's amazing. Richard Fleming, architect. Everyone at CNext talked about how wonderful he was. Monogram did an amazing job, and he was great.
That's kind of a niche. Do you know what I mean? It's a small world. And Don Ruggles is very involved in having initiatives brought into the medical community, so that therefore at Johns Hopkins or his University of Colorado, Harvard, to have an initiative that would do exactly what you are talking about. It would be a doctor is in there and you're saying, I'm not feeling too good. They go, tell me about your home environment. Tell me about what colors are you living in, that your heart rate is always, do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
So it was just interesting. And I bet they know each other. I just have a gut feeling.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
But it is something that is obviously happening everywhere. Like I said, they did an incredible job with that. They had us taste 4 different types of chocolate blindfolded to see the difference of how that made you feel. It was incredible. It was really, really a cool experience.
I wish I could have been at that.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, I had our friends at Genair, and Whirlpool has a neuroscience, like he works for Whirlpool directly.
Okay.
So he was part of the panel, and they, when we were talking about health and well-being with the Genair, and Jill Cohen with Lux was on that panel talking about that. It was really interesting. So
yeah.
it's interesting that you're asking that, because obviously everyone is paying attention to this particular subject.
I love hearing you say that because I've been, do you know when you, like you said, you started off your career and you were like, oh, I don't know anything about this. I'm going to the kitchen and bath and talking about my son or whatever. and then,
Exactly.
and then I thought to myself, I thought, it's so funny because it's how I've designed my entire career has been in that realm of how is this making them feel? And learning more and more about the science behind it was really fun for me as the
Yeah.
years went on. But I just intuitively felt this is bumming them out, whatever it is, that they're showing me. So it's been an interesting journey for me, like you said yourself, to turn
Yeah.
around and go, oh, there's a science behind why they're so weirded out or whatever. So it all comes back to I'm glad that the world is changing in design and we're helping people with their health. And now I want to bring this up. Okay. This one I really was excited about. Okay. I heard that you took to the stage, you blew everybody's mind because I've heard it. They told me. And you sang Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive. And people told me, Mary, her voice will knock your socks off. She is unbelievable. So I did every bit of research, and my assistant Carly, we spent more hours trying to find Facebook videos, somebody in the audience. We went every place you can think. We didn't find it. We
So
didn't
good.
find it. No, they said that your voice knocked their socks off. Then they said that it was so crystal beautiful that the whole room went silent. And I was like, oh, we've got to find this. I couldn't find it.
I'm blushing because it is such a joke around my home. No, first of all, I have the absolute worst voice in the world.
No, you don't. That's not what I heard.
Yeah, I really do. I really do. I mean, my family would die laughing, especially my sister-in-law, who is actually a famous singing star in Latin America and Mexico. She would die laughing if she heard this, but everybody makes fun of it in my family. But honestly, I don't know. It's something I can't explain. It's so stupid. But I think what it is I you know
What?
you might get to the point where you're like, I've done it so many times. I know the song. And sometimes it's really not about how good of your voice it is. It's just that people are just in shock and everyone's singing and you really can't hear my voice. And I'm smart because I do it with a fantastic band who makes me sound good. So trust me, I don't have a good voice. I hate to ruin that for those of you or anyone that hears this that thinks I have a good voice, but it's all fun and games. It started one year I did it for fun because it was like, oh yeah, I'll get up and sing. And we were all kind of ha ha ha. And then it has become this like, people are like, okay, you got to do it because we heard. And now I really, honestly, every year I'm like, I'm not going up there. I'm not doing this. And then somehow somebody convinces me that I have to. And you know what? It's my 2 minutes of fame that I will never have because I am not a singer. So I just soak it all in for a few minutes and that's it. And then I quickly step down and leave the stage.
Well, I do have to tell you, in the design world, people have talked to me about it. They said, her voice is like an angel. You will not believe how she sings. And I was like, this is way cool, really? Because I am actually, my husband has said to me if I'm singing something, he'll go, Mary, you might want to rethink. And I said, I'm just singing in the car. And he goes, rethink it. Rethink. That's how bad mine is.
I will actually tell you something funny. I did that song on a cruise ship once, 100 years ago. And there was a talent show, and I signed up and I did my song because I've done it forever. And this is how bad of a singer I really am. when the judges heard me, the judge said, it was like one of those American Idol moments. It had like the screens, and I got up and I sang and I did my spill. And when I finished, the judge goes, Patty, at first when you started to sing, I was
Uh,
afraid, and then I became petrified. And I got kicked out.
you got kicked off
I did not make it onto the next round.
on a cruise ship, no less.
Yeah. So, yeah, sorry
But
to
think,
burst anyone's bubble, but I don't have a good voice.
no, you do. What happened was you were on the cruise ship, you got knocked down, thrown off American Idol on cruise ships, and you turned around and said, I'll show them.
I did. I will always find a way to get back up.
But that's what the whole song's about, and that's what you're about.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
It reminds me, I know that Brandy Carlisle is playing at the Gorge out here. You know her song, The Joke?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That always reminds me, it kind of ties into the I Will Survive. It's kind of like, I've seen the movie and I see how it ends and the joke's on you. Do you know when everybody was saying, nope, she's off the cruise ship. Send her back. Okay.
She's
and then
out.
Now she's opening for, in Cancun to hundreds of people and they go nuts and they think you're great. So
yeah, well, thank you.
We're our harshest critics, but what are your plans for next year's event?
Well, funny you should ask. I just got back last night, which is literally.
You did?
Yes, I was in Cancun last night, was in the Riviera Maya, and finalized everything. We will be at the Grand Velas Hotel on January 8th through the 11th. So we're doing it early. I am so excited about next year because I came back just super energized. I can't say everything, but I can tell you that there's a really good balance that we're bringing to this next edition of wellness, as well as obviously fun, but a lot of very intentional, sort of bringing the Mexican culture of the ethnicity, some of the rituals that they do, and having people have the opportunity to do them during the conference. I'm super lucky that I have, as of today, confirmed all of the media partners, the editors of the magazines that will be there.
Beautiful. Architectural Digest again?
Yes.
Okay.
And the others, I mean, all of them that were there last year. Lux, and we have House Beautiful,
nice,
and Miranda, and Business of Home. Modern Luxury was there last year, but very excited to have them all come back.
Okay, that's cool. I think it's a safe bet to say, despite what you said about your voice, okay? But I think it's a safe bet to say that the owner of Cosentino has to say, that was one of the best decisions I made, hiring her. And the way it happened was so serendipitous. Do you know what I mean? It was like meant to be. It was like, what am I going for? You know what I mean? And that's when the most, I think, fun things happen in life.
Yes. Well, I'm the lucky one. They're an amazing family. Paco is an incredible mentor to all of us. And Eduardo, Eduardo was 28 years old when he came to be the CEO of North America. And he, at that age, you would imagine, you're thinking that he was just a kid. And I have had the opportunity and the blessing of just working by his side and seeing him grow into this incredible man who is running the business. And his sister Pilar is now the CEO of the company. And she is brilliant. And they get along so well. So, it's an incredible family. They have a third brother, and he runs all the digital marketing, and they all, it's just a great mix and a beautiful family. They're the most humble family, and people that have gone to Spain to the factory have seen firsthand, like the little town where they're from, where if you live there, it's like, come on, it is.
Yeah, come on.
It's amazing. So I can say I'm the lucky one for sure.
Well, that's very sweet to say. And I applaud you for your being able to pull this off. And also that you still get up and sing I Will Survive. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you got to play hard and work hard, and that's kind of our motto. So we got to have some fun for sure.
Well, you're having it.
Yeah, we're having it. And, it's rough times like right now when things are not the greatest, but we all got to find that way and we will survive, right?
We will survive. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, Patty, thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule. We're really looking forward to working more with Cosentino, and we just are extremely grateful. You've been delightful. You're way fun. I can see why your business, why they put you in charge of relationships. I feel like I could hang out with her. I feel like, maybe I should look into going to see Next Design.
Yes, you should.
I should, because then I could see you sing. But I can tell you already have that demeanor. So it's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And thank you for all you do also for the design community. I appreciate it a lot.
I hope that this podcast will help empower you and teach you how to pursue your vision for your home by becoming aware of how design elements make you feel. We have many creative and inspiring guests joining us in future podcasts, sharing their knowledge and experiences with holistic design. And we're very excited about hearing from all of you and learning about your reactions to different design components. We welcome your comments and likes, and of course, would greatly appreciate you subscribing to our channel. Till next time, remember to start listening to yourself, because it's about you. It's your home. It's your space.